LG's flagship for the year, the G3, is stuffed to the gills with modern specs and even throws a 3-on-2 in the form of a display with record pixel density and a unique laser autofocus system. Apple's iPhone 5S, on the other hand, offers a more manageable chassis and a stellar Touch ID fingerprint sensor. This is Daniel from PhoneArena, and as usual we're staging a combat between the brushed looks of the 5.5-inch LG G3 against the slender metal and glass frame of the iPhone 5S, as this will be one of the heavyweights fight in the Android versus iOS championship for the immediate future. Which one will prevail? Let's find out. The phones are in entirely different categories when it comes to external design. Measuring at 8.9mm, the G3 is thicker than the iPhone 5S and way larger, heavier and cumbersome to use with one hand. Its plastic build sports a removable back cover, giving you access to the battery compartment and memory expansion slot, possibilities that the iPhone 5S doesn't offer. The iPhone is crafted in a very different way with premium metal chassis. LG has positioned the power lock key and the volume rocker in its unique way on the back of the handset. Here they are easier to feel and press with your index finger only and ensure good tactile feedback. The lock key and the volume buttons of the iPhone 5S are also breezy to use on account of the small form factor of the phone, which lets your fingers reach everywhere without stretch gymnastics. Apple shook the mobile industry with a unique Touch ID sensor embedded in the home key, which is about the only fingerprint sensor on a mobile device done right. It lets you unlock the phone and authorize iTunes purchases. The G3 has a 5.5-inch Quad HD IPS LCD display with the second best pixel density of 538 ppi, while the 4-inch 640 by 1136 pixels IPS LCD panel on the iPhone has 326 ppi. You won't be able to notice the individual pixels on both displays from a normal viewing distance, but if you examine the screens closely, the G3 panel comes out significantly sharper. The iPhone 5S has excellent color reproduction with very accurate colors. In comparison, the G3 display is less correct, which goes especially for the oversaturated reds, but not something that the average user will notice, unlike with Samsung's tacky AMOLED displays, for instance. The color temperatures of both handsets are pretty close enough to the reference white point standard, yet LG's phone leans a bit more to the cold side of the spectrum than the iPhone. When it comes to outdoor visibility though, the iPhone 5S definitely has the upper hand, as it is capable to reach almost 600 nits of peak brightness and has lower reflectance, while the G3 masters 376 nits only. With the G3, LG has toned down its customized Optimus UI experience, layered on top of Android 4.4 KitKat when compared to the previous versions. It is flatter and simpler visually now, with a pretty uniform look and color-coded sections, but its responsiveness seems sluggish at times. The G3 offers unique features like Knock Code, the Q-Slide floating apps and the dual windows mode, which comes very handy on the big screen handset, as it can split the screen in two, letting you run two apps at the same time. Needless to say, the big screen is a liability when you try to use the keyboard or the dialer with one hand. Compared to the compact iPhone 5S, LG has provided a way to remedy this somewhat by shrinking the keyboard to the side of the screen so you can reach any letter with your thumb only. The iPhone runs iOS 7.1, which exhibits flat, colorful icons and handy drop-down notification bar, which is inhabited by your most pertinent new info. We also get a pull-up command center, rich in connectivity toggles and a screen brightness slider there. Apple's approach doesn't bet on a widget system and doesn't offer any split-screen multitasking or floating apps. Apple provides its Siri voice controlled assistant, which is countered with Google Voice on the G3, and the two offer similar functionality for those who are bent on using their vocal cords to manage their handset. The iPhone 5S has the excellent Passbook application, which aggregates your digital coupons, airline and train tickets, also movie passes and reward and gift cards, while Google's Android has yet to reply to iOS on this feature. The G3 sports a 2.5 GHz quad-core Snapdragon 801 processor coupled with Adreno 330 GPU and has 8 2GB, 16GB and 3GB, 32GB versions. Apple strikes back with a 64-bit A7 processing chip in its handset and 1GB of RAM. Both processors are so fast that there's barely any app out there, including heavy 3D games that would make them break a sweat. But the Optimus UI as found on the G3 feels testy at times. The 5S has 16GB of internal memory from the box with additional storage options available for extra money, and it doesn't carry a memory card slot unlike the G3. We can attest for stellar browsing experience on both devices with fast and smooth scrolling, panning around and zooming in or out. The reading mode in Safari on the iPhone 5s strips web pages of distracting content like pics and ads and presents you the article in a clear text format for easy reading. It doesn't support Adobe Flash, which can be side-loaded on the default G3 browser for those situations you might need it. Surfing the web on the larger display of the LG phone is naturally more enjoyable to the sheer screen size advantage too. The handsets have multi-band LTE and 3G radios depending on the area they're sold in, as well as a suite of other connectivity options. The G3 adds NFC and wireless charging to the mix too. LG also offers an infrared port at the top, which is used to command the home electronics like TVs, stereos, set-top boxes and even air conditioning units of various brands. Wired connectivity is done via the convenient side-agnostic Lightning port on the iPhone 5s and a slim port on the G3 for TV out scenarios with the respective adapter. The iPhone 5s gallery, as well as the one on the G3, offer grid thumbnail view of your photos and videos. LG lets you pinch to resize the thumbs in the gallery, but the editing options aren't built in, unlike the photo editing on the iPhone 5s. Instead, upon pressing the edit button, LG offers to take you either to Google Photos or the preloaded Photo Punch application, which has a tailored editing interface. The music players support categorization options by artists, albums or playlists, but the sound and equalizer effects on the G3 are built into the player's interface itself, while on the 5s you have to go to the general settings app to change them. The LG G3 has an amplified 1-watt speaker on the back, which still doesn't sound as strong and full as the loudspeaker that Apple equipped on the iPhone 5s. Video playback on the large display of the LG G3 is a very enjoyable experience, especially considering that the stock player runs everything you throw at it, up to the whopping 2K resolutions at that, while on the iPhone 5s you have to convert many popular formats before they can be played back. LG's video player is also feature-rich, letting you add subtitles, captions, or detaching it and playing the video in a small window while doing something else with the phone. LG G3 comes with a 13-megapixel camera, while Apple has placed an 8-megapixel sensor of the same size in the iPhone 5s, plus a two-tone LED flash in its turn. The G3 shooter also sports a unique infrared laser emitter on the back, which helps speed up focusing to a fraction of a second. The iPhone 5s autofocus is a tad slower than the G3, but in reality feels very fast too. The G3 camera app offers an abundance of color effects and shooting modes like Auto HDR and the Magic Focus camera option that will capture at different focus settings, leading to a blurred out background for more artsy photos. Apple's simple, easy-to-use camera app interface consists only of a few main options such as panorama and now automatic HDR capture, but their execution is fast and flawless. Moreover, you can always achieve most of the modes present on the G3 with third-party iOS applications, including the out-of-focus effect. The iPhone 5s has consistently delivered great results in our camera comparisons, so how does it fare against the new G3? For starters, both phones deliver great images, but color reproduction could have been more accurate. Both the G3 and the 5s have warm color overcast in the pictures. The 13-megapixel camera of the G3 manages to capture a very good level of detail, resolving more than the 8-megapixel shooter of the iPhone 5s. Indoors, the G3 camera often chooses too slow a shutter speed. This allows it to take photos without firing the flash, but may result in a tad blurry images due to handshake. Other than that, the indoor shots taken with the G3 are very good. The amount of noise is kept in check, the photos are detailed, and the LED flash is very strong and distributes the light evenly throughout the scene without ruining the color balance. Indoor photos from the iPhone 5s are detailed but a bit warmer than they should be, and noise sometimes creeps up when the two-tone LED flash decides to stay put. The iPhone's flash also illuminates the scene evenly, though it's a tad weaker than the potent lights on the back of the G3. LG's phone can record ultra-high resolution 4K video at 30 frames per second, as well as 1080p video, while the iPhone 5s makes do with 1080p only, which however is more than adequate for any purpose. The G3 video is fluid, very steady on account of the optical image stabilization mechanism, and sports quick exposure adjustments while panning around. Footage from LG's phone looks a tad more vivid and saturated, and with a step lighter exposure than what the iPhone 5s captures. The G3 records a very strong sound to accompany the videos, though not as clean as the iPhone 5s masters. The LG G3 and the iPhone 5s not only seem worlds apart when it comes to ergonomics and one-handed usage, but we found them to be quite different in terms of features too. The steel and gloss design of the iPhone 5S is more premium and is way more comfortable to use with one hand than the wide LG G3. LG, however, offers a more flexible design with replaceable battery and expandable storage. Not only that, but the big 5.5-inch display flaunts record pixel density and is preferable for browsing and media before the 4-inch panel of the iPhone 5S. Step outdoors, however, and the iPhone screen remains visible while the G3 panel looks dim and harder to read. When it comes to performance, the 64-bit A7 is optimized very well for powering the smooth iOS interface, while the G3 stutters at times but offers way more features out of the box, including split-screen multitasking. We found the camera quality to be rather on par. Where LG's handset definitely has the upper hand though is the video department, as it is capable of 4K footage and the scene holds extremely steady thanks to the optical image stabilization tech. This was a video comparison between the new LG G3 and the Apple iPhone 5S from PhoneArena. For more information about these and other handsets, you can visit us at PhoneArena.com.